Hi everyone, my name is Brandon and I will be doing a fifth grade math lesson on adding decimals. The California state standards are that students should add, subtract, multiply, and divide decimals to the hundredths using concrete models or drawings and strategies based on place value, properties of operations, and or the relationship between addition and subtraction. Students should also relate the strategy to a written method and explain the reasoning used. At the end of the lesson, students will be able to add multi-digit whole numbers with decimals up to the hundredth. My lesson will focus on adding numbers with decimals up to the hundredth only. Before I get into this lesson, I would like to go over some vocabulary. The first term is decimal point. A decimal point is a dot or a period in the middle of a number to signify a fraction to the right. It can also be viewed as a separator of the whole number part and a fractional part of a number. And then the tens place. The tens place is a place value or a number that is immediately to the right of a decimal point. The hundredths place is a number or a place value that is immediately to the right of the tens place. So, for example, in the number 94.43. Here's the decimal point. 94 is a whole number. 43 is the fractional part. 4 would be in the tenths place, and 3 would be in the hundredths place. For my lesson or activity, I will be doing an activity where I will pass out random numbers such as 114.38. 94.43 and 73.58. I will pass out an index card with a random number to every student. I will then assign them into pairs, and then, since every student has a number with a decimal point up to the hundredth, I will tell the students to add their two numbers together. I will give them time to work on their problem and solve it. And then after students have time to work on it, I will tell them to trade their two numbers with two numbers from another pair. So the two pairs of students can compare their answers and compare the process of how they got there, and it will help me determine if some students are correct or some students would be wrong when doing the activity. During the time I give students to work, I will walk around the classroom and help students when they need help or help them guide them through the process. And to also help teach them and add decimals and get them familiar with the process, I will create problems that are easy to understand and work with more simple numbers. Some challenges that students may face is that they might not know how to line up numbers with a decimal. They might not fully understand in fifth grade that when writing the equation vertically, they must always line up the decimal and keep them and keep the place values the same and in the same column. And they also might not know how to add numbers that are in the decimal position, and they might also be confused on how does the transfer of numbers work in the decimal positions. And one other issue I may face in class is that that some students might be ahead or behind others. So, like some students may already know how to add numbers with decimals, or some students might really struggle with it. So with that being said, I might change like assign the groups, put the strong students with the weak students. Or if students are really behind, I could work with them in a group with me when I do the lesson. And some questions I would ask my students at the end of the lesson are, why are decimal points so important? And another question I would ask them would be, what would happen to a sum of a number if you moved a decimal point to the left or to the right? All right. And at the end of the lesson, students have just learned about adding numbers with decimals up to the hundredth. In my next lesson, I will be doing subtraction of decimals up to the hundredth place. All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.